morning, my YouTube friends. Monica here with MyWyoStyle. Remember, God loves you. Today I am going to harvest my yarrow, and it is just about ready to do that. Might be overdone, might be kind of getting dried out. So I'm going to go ahead and collect it now and dehydrate it. Come along with me. So just to prove how lazy that I am and not traditional gardener, when I go to start harvesting my herbs, what I do is the night before I take just a really soft water head on my hose, and I rinse off my herb that I'm going to harvest the next day, and make sure all the dust and whatever pollens have settled on it from the plants near it, and rinse them out really good. And then by morning, before 10 o'clock, I try to get out here and I harvest all of those herbs that I rinsed off the night before. So that way they're in their closest natural state, and ready and prepared to harvest. And I'm watching a butterfly that is absolutely beautiful. But yarrow, like I said, has some amazing healing properties, and what I enjoy most about it is that when I drink it as a tea, I know that it is going to that specific ailment that my body is in state of at that time, and it goes in there and it heals that particular organ or ailment that I have, and it starts healing it. The same as my yarrow salve that I make with cuts and bruises and things like that. It immediately starts healing that, and within a few days usually my cuts are healed. My in-laws love it. They ask me for it all the time. As they get older, their skin thins and they get cut a lot more easier. When your skin gets older, it gets thinner, and they use it constantly to heal any cuts that they have, and within a few days it's healed, and they ask for it all the time. So I'm going to harvest that now, so come along with me. Let me show you this plant up close. These are the flowers that it produces. These are the leaves. And this plant actually can stop bleeding. So even if you're out in the wild, you can take off a bunch of these leaves and chew them up and put them on your wound. If it is bleeding, you can't get the bleeding to stop. You can chew this up, take it out, and put it on the wound, and it will actually stop bleeding. It also lowers high blood pressure, and it helps heal your liver if you're having liver issues. But most importantly, please do your research on any herb and make sure that you know all the side effects and how it's gonna react with any medication that you're taking from any doctor. So always do your research on this. This will also bring down any high fevers, and is typically safe for children in small doses of tea form. So if you want to use something natural to reduce a fever, this is what you can use. Today I am going to collect it in my galvanized bucket. I always make sure that they are absolutely clean and dry, because I already washed the herb last night before we went to bed, and now I'm going to harvest it. easiest way that I like to do this is I just hold the plant by the flower and just run my finger down the stem and then just cut this flower head off, because all those healing properties are in the flowers too. This will also reduce all the excess mucus that your body is producing, which is really good for influenza. So if you are suffering from that, you can always make a cup of tea of this to help reduce the symptoms of influenza. I am going to start filling my dehydrating trays. I am going to remove any dried elements on it, just so that way I know that this is as fresh as possible as I'm drying it. Let me get this done. Also, if you are pregnant, do not use this herb, because it will have the onset of uterus bleeding and may cause a miscarriage. So, warning to those of you that are pregnant, be very, very careful that no one offers you some yarrow tea of any kind. So I got 4 trayfuls. Hopefully the wind won't blow these off when I'm trying to take them in. So let's go in and get them in the dehydrator. Sorry guys. Put the light on. Aren't these oranges beautiful? I canned some some oranges with some whole cloves in it. Sometimes underneath my tray, I get some scraggler plants on the bottom of my tray. I'm just gonna pull those off. Not that it would really make a difference. It would probably dry just perfectly and just fall off by itself. I'm going to dehydrate these on a low temperature for probably a couple of days, because when I do it on low, it takes at least 2 days. In this Excalibur. I love this Excalibur. I wish I had like a timer on it, but I'm back here a lot doing laundry, so I never forget it running all the time. Anyways, here's a little video of some of my dehydrated items. This is Swiss chard, Don't ask me how I know that, but I do. My beets, my salsa, some choke cherry jam, some jalapeno jam, and on and on and on. More dehydrated items. This is dehydrated marshmallows. We put that in our hot chocolate in the wintertime. So if I notice our marshmallows getting a little old, I just go ahead and dehydrate them. We really don't waste a lot of food in this house. If it scraps, we take it over to the son's house. Cabbage, we got corn, that looks like rhubarb. I don't know if you can see these ones or not. They are blueberries. Lima beans. I dehydrate just about everything. Well, I'll come back and show you what this looks like when this is all done and how I store it. Okay guys, I'm back with that dehydrated yarrow out of my garden. These pink variety yarrows are, actually they are a hybrid. So anything that's in the natural state of form is going to be yellow or white. But anything that's like the pale colors, pastel colors are going to be a hybrid. So anything that you get from the wild is going to be higher in quality for the natural state. So this is going to be have a lot more healing properties than the hybrid variety. This is the yarrow that I got. When we were camping, I showed you that I collected it. So, and I gathered all the flowers and the leaves, and that's what this is. I think this is a half-gallon jar. But I'm going to make a tea for myself and try this. And like I said, you can use the flowers and the leaves. But I'm just going to infuse it in some hot water. I like to add mint to my tea. It makes it more, I don't know, tastier, tolerable, because yarrow is a bitter. So this will taste actually bitter. And this is the mint from my garden also. And I'll show you when we go to harvest that and how I do that. So I'm going to let this steep while I'm filling up this jar. This is an old antique jar that I found at a garage sale, and I think I paid $1 for it if I'm not mistaken. What I'm going to do is I'm going to separate the stems off of the flowers themselves, just so that way it's easier to put in a tea ball when I put my flowers in. Get those leaves in there, kind of crush them up as I get them in there. I always like making a mess, so I didn't get my my pastry mat on here today, but that's a good way because you're just going to make a mess on the counter when you're doing this. But all is good. You could just scoop it up and get it back in there. But that's all there is to dehydrating your yarrow and storing it for teas. And like I said, make sure that you understand the healing properties of yarrow. And a good way to test to see if you're allergic to yarrow too is to just chew up some of the leaves in your mouth and make just a little kind of I don't know what you call it. And then when you get it all chewed up, just put it on your wrist and put a Band-Aid on it and leave it there for 15 minutes. And if you break out, you'll know that you're allergic to yarrow, which is a good testing for allergies of any kind of herbs that you're thinking about using for medicinal purposes. So be very careful. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I just know what helps me. I developed some liver problems several years ago, and I've been using yarrow ever since then, and it has really helped bring those numbers down on my liver. So, and I've never been an alcoholic, so it's not an alcohol issue. Some women's livers naturally do that as you go through menopause, and guess what? I'm one of those people. So, just to keep my liver health in check, I just have this yarrow tea, and you can add honey to this if you'd like to. Just the mint itself is so wonderful addition to my yarrow tea, and I try to drink it at least 3 times a week. I used to drink it every day when I found out about my liver problem, and it helped the next time that I saw the doctor. I didn't tell him exactly what I was doing, but he did say that my numbers were better on my liver. So I hope you enjoyed seeing this tutorial, and I hope you can find some yarrow or plant some in your garden. And when I get done, I had 4 trays or 3 trays of the yarrow, and I'm going to go ahead and it will fill this entire jar up. And like I said, that filled a half-gallon jar when I got those when we were camping too. And I'll get back to you when I make my yarrow salve for cuts and bruises. So have a great rest of the day, and may God bless you.